Hi, my name is Kimberly Hall, and I am the founder of Soul Inspired. If you're wondering why I'm smiling from ear to ear, it's because you are definitely in for a treat. In a few moments, I will share with you an interview of 4 Soul Inspirers. You are about to meet 4 amazing women who are Ironman finishers. For those of you who aren't really sure what an Ironman finisher is, let me just share. The Ironman triathlon is widely considered as one of the most difficult one-day sporting events in the world. This sport consists of swimming, biking, and running a total of 140.6 miles. So if we break that down, that's a 2.4 mile swim, 112 miles on the bike, and then a marathon at the end, which is 26.2 miles. It's raced in that order, and it's without a break. Yes, you heard me. 16 to 17 hours is the cutoff. Yes, that's a lot of hours. But with these women, I am so excited to share with you their pure awesomeness. So get comfortable and enjoy as we have a private interview at my home. You will meet some Ironman finishers, mothers, a grandmother, working women, business owners, and women who say that you can have it all. Thank you. So you said something I wanted to touch on, because in your interview, you said the same thing about when you train for an Ironman and just the mental toughness that it takes. You transcend into, I can do anything outside of that. Is that how you ladies feel about it during the training? Does it help with situations and circumstances and work outside of the Ironman? Does that training put you in that mindset that I can do anything?
For me, definitely.
Yeah.
It does. And is it the discipline of all 3 together? The time, what is it that does that for you guys?
I think for me it was the discipline of getting off work at 5 and knowing I got a 50-mile bike ride and a 4-mile run and getting home at 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? And you be like, I just worked an 8-hour day and I bike 50 miles. And I got off my bike and I had to go run, and you had to do that by yourself because nobody else is training for nothing but you. And everybody's like, oh, I'm going home. And then you get home and you sit down to your bowl of Cheerios because that's all you can do.
Right.
And you want to break down. You're like, I just did that. Like, nobody else just did what I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? You thinking nobody else. And I just did it alone. So, yeah, it's the mental side. You feel like I can do anything now. Like,
yeah. And I love the fact that all 4 of us sitting here are career women.
Yeah.
We're not housewives. You know, because, you know, I'm sure all of us have come across in our training groups, and not to take anything away from them, but a lot of housewives. Like, you don't work. And so you get out here and do these rides and this run. Not to say that it's not hard, but I got 8 hours that I got to put in, or 10, or it depends on what's going on that week. And then add this training on top of it. So
yeah. I mean, and that is something, because as I was reading your interviews, I was just impressed by the amount of things that you have to do outside of the training. And you have to incorporate that into your lives. So how do you manage with family? Because family is a constant that you can't just say, you know, I'll put to the side. So how do you manage with training for an Ironman and managing your family or your household of things that you have to do?
I didn't have any. It was just me.
Okay.
So I honestly, I don't know how Jaja did it. Like, I could really just go home and go to sleep. Like, I didn't have to, like, I was like, if I had a husband or I had a child that was looking at me to fix something to eat, like, they would hate me. They were home. Selfish. You know, me and Jaja went on a 60, 80-mile bike ride one morning, and she packed her stuff. She put all her stuff in the cooler. I'm sitting here watching her. And her son was sitting at the table. I said, what's she going back in the house for? She went in there to fix him a bowl of cereal. I said, how awesome is that? and she was so calm with it. She's like, I'll be back. fix this cereal. And she fixed the cereal, and I was impressed. Like, we get ready to bike 80 miles. I would have told like, you better fix your own cereal. She fixed the cereal, and he sat there because he knew my mom is going to fix. I will never forget that moment. You probably didn't think I noticed it, but I was like, wow, if I had kids, they would starve.
So how did you do it?
Yeah. I think I used Friday, Saturday, and Sunday always to plan the next week. So my schedule was like, for one, the boys are very important. I have the boys at home now. So, you know, I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss things and that my training didn't interfere with things they had going on. So in order for me to do that, it meant I had to get up earlier. So I had to get up at 3:30. My stuff had to be right there. So mentally, it's like, you know what you got to do? The clothes are there. I prepared on Saturday and Sunday for everything that had to happen. So I'd get up at 3:30. I'd go bike. And this was like going 3 months in. So this was what the schedule was. Because I learned from my previous what I need to do. And in order to not miss their things, I had to do stuff early in the morning. So I'd be up at 3:30 to try to go and be done, or bike at 4. And then I knew from previous, I had to do more bricks than before so that I could make it to the run. So I'd have to bike and then meet BGR to run at 5. So I bike, run, and then be back in enough time for them to just be up. I'm not missing anything. Have breakfast, and then get them off in the buses. And then like work, it's like, I biked 20 and ran 5. Y'all ready?
Right. Can you
My day is half done. Let's go. Because after this, I gotta either go run or swim, whatever discipline I didn't do. So we got from 8:30 to 5:30-ish because I gotta be back for the boys, get them ready for their activity, and then either go to the pool or get on the trainer. So in order for me not to miss anything, which I was feeling like I was doing that before, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to do that because Zion has this. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, I have to really get this schedule down for how I can do my stuff, be there for all of their things, and then finish the day with my stuff and do it all over again.
Wow.
That's boss.
Wow.
Right, that's boss.
I am very fortunate in that, like, being a business owner definitely helps in that, you know, I can somewhat set my schedule, not always, but there is some flexibility. I'm also very lucky to have an amazing ex-husband in that, so right now we share a 50-50 schedule. So my son spends a week with me and then a week at his dad's. So whenever, you know, he was at his dad's, I had a lot more flexibility to train.
Right.
But even when he wasn't at his dad's, if I knew that I had, you know, a 100-mile bike ride, he would watch him a little longer, and he was very accommodating. So that was definitely very helpful.
Dylan made breakfast, and he sent you the picture. And you posted it while you was on the bike ride. And I was like, these kids adjust to what we're doing, and instead of complaining, they be like, and Dylan had said, I was like, look at Dylan. I forgot what it was he made. Was it an omelet or a pancake? It was something. And I was like, look at Dylan sitting in front of the lake eating his breakfast while his mom is out here training.
But I bet for him, I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I bet for him, that is such a, like, what your mama do?
Right. And he sent her the picture. And I bet like it made her feel good because I was like, they gotta make her feel good because I think sometimes we feel the pressure of I gotta hurry up because I gotta get home. I feel guilty. My son is at home. Is never eating breakfast, and you know.
And it definitely helps that he's a little bit, you know, older, and I know that he's, you know, safe and old enough to, you know, fix him some food if he needed to. But it's also, you're making a great point in that I think we're sending a great message to our kids. Like, I think that's really something that, you know, we may not communicate that, but Dylan has said to me so many times, like, if I doubted myself, he's like, Mom, you're an Ironman. And I'm like, oh, wow, you know.
Right, they see every every inch of it, and that is such a motivation for them. Yeah, I think that's.
I know, that's awesome. Speaking of kids, one of the posts that I read of Zaza was about you wanted your kids to know with you completing on your third time that you don't quit, and I think it's important for them to see that, because I think in life sometimes, you know, we tell our children, oh, if you try hard, you do everything that you're supposed to, and then sometimes it doesn't happen like that. So they need to know that when it doesn't, you get back up, you try, and if it doesn't happen again, you try again.
Until you
So for them to see mom really made her goal, and it didn't happen the first time, but guess what? She didn't say, I'm over it, it's done.
It's funny when I came back, because the boys didn't watch, you know, they're with grandma, and my mom wasn't watching throughout the time. She saw my husband's post, but I don't know if she was communicating to the boys. So I come back and Zion's like, so did you finish? And I was like, I finished. He's like, oh, mom, I'm so proud of you. Because the last time in Santa Rosa, I was bummed. And he said, well, at least you got to spend time with your family.
Oh, that's
and I was like, you know what, Zion, you're right. Because they're always traveling, and they were in Canada. My daughter's away at college, and like we barely see each other, if once a quarter. So I was like, you know, that's putting in perspective. And it was Mother's Day weekend, so that was still beautiful. But then when I come back, he's like, so did you finish?
That is awesome. So that is awesome. So, do you ever think during your race, like, why am I doing this? Or during the
race
repeatedly.
So what do you do to motivate yourself to, like, keep going or to continue your training? Like, is there a mantra? Is there a regimen? What do you do to keep that fire going, to know that you have that goal that you need to finish?
Social media helped me. You know, sometimes, you know, people say, oh, she posts too much, or, you know, sometimes I did feel like but sometimes I needed encouragement. I needed somebody to say, keep on watching you. Because nobody, I live alone, so nobody was watching me. So I needed to know, like, okay, hold on. I needed to know somebody's watching me. I needed somebody to give me that push, or, you know, just something. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, could be, what else you gonna do? You could be doing something else. Like
happy hour. Miss all the time.
Learn how to bake, you know.
So it didn't freak you out when I sent you a message saying, can I get your address?
Yeah,
send you a card.
I was always, and it, you know, people was sending cards and words of encouragement. So that helped. Sometimes it helps when you're going through that. So
absolutely.
So I never really questioned when somebody posts, because I never know what they need.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if somebody posts a lot, and you may be like, dang, they post all the time. But then you never know what they need. They may need that great job. They may need that keep going, you know. So you just like, I needed that.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah.
It helped.
I think you need to know your why. And when you have those moments, reflect and go back to that reason.
So you will remember your why, and it will help you to forge ahead.
Right.
That makes sense. What about you, Shelley?
I think mine was very similar. I think because when I started on this journey, there really was none of us. And so, you know, I used to think, like, can I be the first black? And I would research it. Like, are there any black women doing this? So that would, you know, kind of keep me motivated. But yeah, there was plenty of days where you're like, what am I doing?
So, Nikki, what are you thinking going through the shoot?
The finishing shoot?
Yes. What's going through your head?
See her eyes sparkling.
So you're really thinking, like, I'm gonna cry. And then you're really thinking, like, there's so many people cheering me on. Like, you feel like
you just won the race, right?
Right. You do. You feel like you just won the race. Like, I'm a superstar. Like, you know, And to be honest with you, as you're going through the shoot, you have people cheering you, so you don't have that break. Like, I always imagine myself crying, and I didn't cry. You have all these people, and you think you're like, everybody's just cheering me on. Like, okay, you know. And then you get through the shoot, and to be honest with you, there's a feeling of you want to celebrate, but then you have that emptiness because it's like, what's next?
It's done.
It's over.
It's done.
Yeah.
Wow.
You want it to be over, like you're ready for the day to come.
Yeah.
Because you want all the exhaustion and all the, you know, all that to go away, and you know the adrenaline of race day. But after you go through the shoot, you're like, it's over.
Wow.
It's kind of like your wedding day. After you take the wedding dress off, what's next? You know what I mean? So that's how I felt.
Wow.
I felt empty.
It's like all this planning for this one day, right? And it goes over so quick, just like a wedding.
It goes over so quick, and you're
and that's why you really have to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, you
have
have
fun.
to enjoy even all the tiredness and everything. You have to enjoy the journey because race day is over.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
And after you get through the shoot, you're like,
that's my number one advice to people when they're like, what do you think I should do? Have fun.
have fun.
Enjoy every moment. Talk to people. Well, I'm racing. So what? Talk to people. Like, have a great time because it's over just like that.
It's over just like that. And when it's over, you're so empty. You really. I mean, as soon as I was on the other side of the shoot, as soon as it's like you see the people and the cheering. Then you get on the other side of the shoot, and you're like, it's all over. It's over.
Mine was, I mean, I love to tell the story, I'm sorry, it's like, but it was so spiritual for me.
Yeah.
Because running ain't my thing. And like I told you, the weather sucked. So it got, warmed up a little bit, but then it got cold again on the run. So like, I'm trying to run and my legs would just stop. So I'm walking, like, I'm not gonna finish. So Florida's run is out and back twice. You turn around in this park. It's pitch black. I'm by myself. All I have is this little glow stick. I'm thinking like anybody could drive up and snatch me just like that. I have no energy to fight them. And so I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, oh my God, I got 6 miles left. I'm not gonna make it. I'm exhausted. So up pulls this truck and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually happening. So this dude gets out and he walks towards me. He's like, hey, my name is JD. I'm with IRONMAN. I think you're the last person out of the park. And I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. And so he was like, do you want to finish? I said, yeah. He said, you willing to listen to me? I said, yeah. He said, you ready to run? I was like, yeah. He was like, let's go. So he's running next to me. He's picking up cones and taking them back to the truck, picking up cones. And this time, like, I'm passing some people. He would go talk to other people and then come back and talk to me. And I remember, right, talking about being married and stuff. He's like, just think about your husband at the finish line. I'm not married. He's like, well, who's at the finish line? I'm like, my parents. He's like, think about your parents. I know you're in a lot of pain right now. You cannot think about that. So, I keep going, and he would let me walk a little bit. And so then I see there's 2 miles left in the race. And as a kid, I had a heart condition. So my parents are worried, sick. So they sent my sister out on the course. So she walked the course backwards. And my name is Michelle. Everybody calls me Shelly, though. So I'm hearing Shelly, and so I'm like, well, who could that be? Because on the, first off, it's dark out here, so nobody can see the bib in the first place. So it's her, and she comes up to me, and so then the guy comes over, and he's like, well, who is this? And now I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm about to get disqualified because you're not supposed to have outside help. So he's like, she's like, I was like, this is my sister. And so he's like, is there any way you can get in contact with your parents? She's like, I should have on the phone with my dad right now. He's like, tell them to go to the finish line right now. And tell the officials at the finish line when number 2528 comes across that her mom is to put the medal around her neck. That is the last thing I remember until I looked up and saw 16:55:50 because I was going through the shoot. I mean, and I remember like that, I heard the noise and the people, and I'm thinking I'm going to burst into tears, and I just remember saying to my mom, I will never do this. But yeah, that was, and so like for me, I find it to be very spiritual because I said a prayer right before that man pulled up in the truck, and my prayer was, please God, don't let all this training have been in vain. And like so I tell, that's my ask and he shall answer story.
No, I think all the falls just make me stronger. And I think it took a while for me to realize that, just even as an adult, because I broke both of my legs when I was 17. And so I have a pin in my knee and a pole in my leg. And I think I didn't, like as an adult, I didn't see the x-ray until I was going to do a Ragnar with Vaughn. And, you know, with her being a runner, I was like, I don't want to fail. And I'm feeling like I'm hurt. Let me go to a physical therapist and see what's wrong. And I said, you know, I haven't, maybe something moved or shifted. I hadn't looked at it since I was 17, but I saw it broken. I didn't see it together. So I didn't know what it looked like. I just know I have the scars and there's something there. So when I saw it, that's when I realized, like, you know, I can actually do anything. And this happened for a reason. And I probably need to tell the story because there's some people who feel like I have arthritis, so I can't run. Or I've had an injury and I have this going on, so I can't run. I've had this, so I can't run. So I'm like, I got all kinds of stuff going on, girl. Just keep going. Like, you know, my weight goes up and down. I got kids. You know, my husband's all over the place. Just keep going. So I just think I've enjoyed everything that's happened, whether it's good or bad. You know, whether I fall off a hill, fall off my bike, kill an animal, whatever. It all happened for a reason, and then I should just need to reflect on that and figure out how I need to move forward.
Good advice. Good advice. What about you, Nikki?
A while back, I probably would have said telling people that I was going to do an Ironman. But I think if I hadn't told anybody, I probably wouldn't have did it. So when you tell people, it kind of holds you accountable. Now that I know I can do an Ironman, I probably won't tell nobody. I just go do it and they'd be like, oh, she did an Ironman. You know, because now I know I can do it.
Right.
But at first it was like, a lot of times when I wanted to just say, they can just keep that $700. She said, I hope it goes to a good cause. Like, send it to St. Jude. I mean, there were so many times and I was like, they can keep my $700. Like, just keep it. Like, I probably would have ate it up anyway.
Ate it up.
Like, so, but then I'm like, I don't talk with all these people. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Accountability.
Right.
You told people, and then they're like, you inspire me. Like, oh. I was trying to, like, buy the plane ticket now. You inspire me. I could do it 2 different ways. You're like, oh.
I really just want, I mean, all the way leading up to race week, you're like, I just want to quit. But I told her.
I'm like going around the thing. I'm like, Jay, I want to go home. He got the camera. I'm like, really?
So social media really holds you accountable. It's all these people you don't know. You know what I mean? They hold you accountable because then you're like, if I don't do this, they're going to be like, you know. So yeah, they hold you accountable.
So I have a couple questions before we wrap up. So what does it feel like, I guess, being out there and not seeing other people who look like you? And does that make you hold your chest out, or does that make you feel like I have to finish for, you know, the other people who aren't here? What does that feel like for you guys as women of color in a sport where you don't see a lot of people who look like you?
When I did my first half Ironman, I was the only black female. It was Haines City, Florida, and I was the only black. I was the only black female. And I remember being on the run course, and there was these black kids at the aid station at the water stop. And the first, you know, it's like 3 loops, and the first loop, they was like, looking at me. I was like, why are they looking at me like this? So then the second time around, they was like, are you black? I said, yes. I told you she was a black woman. I told you, you're the only black woman. You're the only black woman out here. Keep going, keep like, that was so emotional for me because I would have never grew up seeing or knowing any of my family or ancestors saying they was doing an Ironman. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You know, my grandmother told me, she was like, it's only 2 people that get paid for walking, and that's the mailman and, what'd she say? The mailman is somebody, like, you ain't even supposed to be out there. What are you doing? You know, but just those little kids alone, I was like, wow. So then the last loop around, I was looking strong running past.
Right, exactly.
Like, y'all got your cameras out. You gonna snap me? Right. I need to be on Snapchat. So, and I could imagine, I was like, you know, those kids they're gonna go home and they're gonna tell a story. Yeah. They're gonna say, I saw a black woman do, you know, half Iron. So, yeah.
I think sometimes for that being, whether it's the only or one of the few, I think sometimes I just like making my kids proud. So that they can go to where they are, where sometimes they're one of the few. And say, yeah, my mom, she just, you know, she just finished her triathlon. Or even my husband, when he was booking his travel with folks at work, and like, where are you going? My wife's getting ready to do an Ironman in Arizona. Your wife's going to do an Ironman in Arizona. You know, so it seems unheard of that he's coming to support me, you know, that his wife is doing it. So I think just, you know, being able to share that, I think sometimes is inspiring for others, especially other cultures.
Right.
Because it's just not something that they're used to hearing or seeing about.
Right. That's a good point. Annabelle?
I think for me it's maybe a little bit different in that, you know, I grew up in Switzerland, predominantly white country. So I've always been the outsider, you know. I'm biracial, my dad is white, my mom is black, but I've always been, I don't know, surrounded by white people. So being in triathlon and there not being very many women or men of color, that's my normal. That's how I grew up, you know, in a work environment, in school. It's always been that way for me. But I definitely agree, like seeing people at the aid stations or people cheering. I think the black community is very strong and they're very encouraging and very, you know, if I'm not running out there or you know, and they see me, they're like, oh, you know, immediately, they may not know me personally, but they're automatically cheering, and so it's very powerful and encouraging. It makes me proud to represent for sure.
It does, it does.
I mean, it's very similar, and like I said, when I did my first, I was the only out there, and knowing that feeling, and you know, I love my community type of chick, and wanting it to be experienced by other women of color and not seeing them, you know, what it did was it drove me to start RIPE, and that was the motivation behind it. Like, I feel like if you can see someone else who looks like you doing it, then that is a huge push to let you know that you can do it too. But like kind of the same thing, like when I did my Ironman, it was older black women, but they were at an aid station and they were in the midst of doing something, and then when they looked up, they were like, oh! And I was like, I mean, but even so, like even with kids, I remember one time we were doing a training ride out West Boulevard, for you all know this, going through the hood of Charlotte. And there was a little girl walking with her grandfather. And she was just walking, and it was like me and Crystal and Cassie and all them. And as we rode up and she looked up, she said, go! I mean, and like all of us are like teary-eyed, and she just pointed, and I was like, that's why we're out here. Because they need to see us who looks like them doing these things. There's no reason why we can't beast out, you know, triathlon at a collegiate level. It is because we don't know as a young child that the opportunity to do that exists. So.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed the interview just as much as I did. There is something to be said about their determination, grit, commitment, training, all to become an Ironman. I was truly inspired by these ladies, and I hope that you were too. Shelly, Annabelle, Zaza, and Nikis. You ladies are amazing. I couldn't thank you enough. So to everyone who tuned in, thank you for hanging out with us and for viewing the video, and please come back to visit us. Hit the subscribe channel, and that way you will see all the new videos that we have coming up and additional soul inspired stories. Also, don't forget to visit our website, www.soulinspiredinc.com. That's SOLEINSPIREDINC.com. Thank you. Have a great day.